Coming up next, we'll talk about the spike in anxiety and depression during the coronavirus. I'll tell you what not to do in times of disruption. We'll take your calls and your chat questions right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. This is an all-important conversation that does not stop, even in the midst of all of this uncertainty. Uncertainty will be a word that we will cover a good bit today, and I imagine over the days and weeks ahead. Thrilled to have you with us, because what has not gone away, even though your job may have gone away, your income may have gone away, what hasn't gone away is your purpose. You were created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. And we're going to continue to help you do what it takes in the downtime, whether that's the part-time job or multiple part-time jobs, doing whatever it takes to survive so that you get back on the path to thriving. 844-747-2577 is the number, 844-747-2577. One of the great negative effects of this pandemic known as the coronavirus is anxiety and depression, which is spiking and will continue to spike. Dr. Youre wrote this article. This is really, really good. Just going to touch on a few things here about what's really happening. The psychology experts are really worried about people who are already predisposed to depression and anxiety. Dr. Alexander Sanchez, a psychiatrist who's working in New York City, told ABC News recently, this is a new challenge, and the most worrying aspect is the uncertainty. Dr. Armando Gonzalez said, there's no doubt uncertainty is always the linchpin to anxiety and panic. The National Alliance of Mental Illness recommends maintaining a sense of normality and routine that mirrors life's daily patterns and practices. Structure and routine are helpful for people with mental health vulnerabilities, especially during times of uncertainty. I wanted to read just those few nuggets from this article because I want to address this in your life. We know that times of uncertainty, even for people who don't have mental health challenges or a mental health history, it affects all of us, including yours truly. The unknown is the greatest fear that we as human beings face. And so you heard one nugget there of a recommendation that routine is your friend. Don't just mail it in and go, well, I'm at home, I'm surrounded by all these negative things, I can't leave, I lost my job, whatever it is. You have got to get in a routine of still being active, and I believe still being valuable. You have value, you are valuable. Find a way to add value and do it in your normal routine. Whatever time you used to get up, get dressed. Brush the teeth, shower, do that stuff. Don't just mail it in. And you be looking for something, do something, add value to somebody. Take the part-time job, deliver pizza, deliver for Amazon, whatever it takes. Do what you have to do. But try to keep a routine. If it's not exactly how it was before, create a new routine and stick to it, and have a mindset that you are going to survive this. You'll get through this. And then those of you who are really struggling with the mental health, please, I think more importantly than even paying your utilities is getting help. Mental health professionals are volunteering some of their services and time, but even if you have to pay for it, you do it. You ask family to help out, whatever it takes. You get on the phone with somebody. You talk to a mental health professional, call the hotlines. Talk this stuff through with somebody who can help you. It's vitally important. This will pass, but I acknowledge that this has created enormous doses of depression and anxiety, and you are valuable. We need you. Get the help you need. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Later in the program, I'm going to address a little bit of what I just touched on. That is, what's the one thing you cannot do in times of uncertainty? I'm going to address it. You have to stick around for that, because a lot of you are falling into this trap, and it can cause a lot of problems. The good news is you can't avoid it, and you can overcome it. I'm going to tell you how. That's coming up a little bit later in the program. But to the phones we go. Huntsville, Alabama is where we're going to start it off with Corey. Corey, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How are you today?
Corey, I'm still living the dream, man. What's happening?
That's awesome. Hey, thank you for those pieces of advice you gave us to start off with there. We appreciate that.
Sure. So what's going on?
Sure. So I have a question, and really I'm expecting a lot of people that are dealing with this problem right now is how to navigate during a crisis if you're in a toxic work environment or a toxic leadership environment.
Yeah.
Could you give some insight on that and just some things to be careful?
Yeah. Can you give me the specifics without mentioning names, or maybe even, I want you to be sensitive here, but at the same time, I want to be able to address as specifically as I can the results of the toxicity and how that's affecting you and the other team so that I can help you handle that.
Sure. Well, it's just more of a you watch people, the way that they're promoted is always at the expense of you or at the expense of someone else. It's never really off of merit or something that's earned. It's just a real difficult and competitive environment, and the toxicity comes into play with manipulation and those real deep and borderline unethical situations.
Okay.
I'm afraid it kind of gets exacerbated in this situation because kind of seems the worst can come out in folks during this time, and the best can in folks that are, have that in them also.
Yeah. So you've been passed over recently for promotion by somebody that's not worthy of it. Is that what I'm detecting?
Yeah, just set actually for about 17 years. So
okay, so this isn't a new thing.
Yeah.
You've been in this toxic environment for some time. Okay. How stable do you think your job is right now?
It's as stable as any jobs are. It's part of the critical infrastructure and one of the top on that list.
Okay. So here's the deal. My advice right now handling this, because the way you posed the question was, Ken, give me some advice on how to handle toxicity in this time of crisis. The reality, it seems to me like you've put up with it for 17 years, if not longer. So I would put up with it a little bit longer, because right now we are very grateful, aren't we, Corey, that even though it's toxic,
absolutely,
and there's a lot to gripe about, you're really grateful to have a super stable job. So I think you start making plans now. Start thinking, identifying. So I want you thinking about, what do you want to do? Where would you go if you could just snap your fingers and make it fall into place? You got to allow yourself to think that way, because what it'll do is you won't be fear-based thinking. You'll just be wondering. And I love wondering. Wondering is beautiful for clarity. So do a lot of wondering about, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And if you've already figured that out, sounds like maybe you have, then I'd start making a plan behind the scenes. When this thing calms down and we get back to some type of semi-normal job market, because we don't really know what it's going to look like coming out of this thing. But when things get back to semi-normal, what would be your strategy? And then I would be focusing on that. And I would be focusing on gratitude. So really thankful that you're stable, and then thinking forward, thinking towards your future, a better future. That's going to give you what you need to make it through right now. So this is all about mindset. You set your mind on what you need to set it on, and it is gratitude for stability and a strategy for my future. That's all you need to do, and you'll make it. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Larry in Spokane, Washington. Larry, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
How are you today, Ken?
Larry, I'm living the dream. What's happening?
So I'm just going to cut right to the chase. I work in IT in the food supply chain. Mm-hmm. So my job is essentially essential. I was asked to pigeonhole my career path about a year and a half ago, and I started doing that. And my company has made organizational changes which have kind of wiped away that career path. So my question really is I love what I do, and I'd like to get my certifications to move my career path forward. But my wife thinks that it'd be a waste of money because she feels like these companies that I've worked for burned the love of IT out of me. Just need some advice.
That's weird that's what she thinks, because you just told me you love what you do.
Yeah, but the job stress is getting to me.
Okay, but hold on a second. We've got to separate those. In order for somebody to be clear, I've got to be able to understand what you're saying. So you love what you do. When you said that a moment ago, be more specific. What does that mean?
I love being able to manage, and work on systems. I love fixing things. I like working with my hands. It makes my brain work.
Great. Okay, so now let's separate what your wife's talking about. So that's a very clear statement. You love the work, the IT work. Maybe Correct. You've been in some companies where it's not a great environment and you don't love the environment and the stress. Let's talk about what's causing the stress. It's not the work. What's causing the stress?
The never-ending dangling carrot.
Now be more specific. I love where we're going. What does that mean, the never-ending dangling carrot? Which, by the way, that's a fantastic phrase. What does that mean?
Well, I was working at becoming a junior network administrator with my current company, and they opened up a junior network position, and due to the organizational changes, they gave that position to somebody that was outside the company versus moving me up.
Right. So has this happened multiple times to you, the never-ending dangling carrot?
It has.
Okay.
And the common factor between the two major companies that this has is my director.
Okay, so now this has happened to you twice.
I worked for him. I worked for the director for 4 years, but I've been with this company for 2. And 2 with the previous year. Okay,
so in 2 different companies where the carrot was dangled, the promotional carrot was dangled, you didn't get it both times, or you didn't get it multiple times at 2 different companies, but the common denominator is you worked for the same leader, so you followed him over.
Correct, due to some organizational changes at the last company.
All right, so have you had a respectful but very clear conversation with this leader to say, hey, it's happened multiple times where I was up for the promotion, but somebody else got it. What can I learn from this? What can I take away? What was I lacking? What can I add to my quiver of arrows in order to get it the next time? Have you had that conversation?
It just...
Yes or
sort
no?
Of. It's a sort of conversation.
Yeah, I don't believe in sort of. Yes or no? Okay, let me make it easier for you.
Not without being shoved down the road of I'm not ready.
What does that mean?
That's what, that's the response I get, is that you're not ready for this spot. There's too many responsibilities.
Okay, good. Okay, but that's so that conversation has happened. I don't understand sort of, and I don't have time for sort of, Larry. I'm trying to help you, man.
Understood.
So what I'm saying is that you've had some type of a conversation, and the answer has been you're not ready, which means you don't have the experience or you don't have the skill set or both. What is it?
It's experience.
Okay, then. So do you trust that response or do you not believe that response?
I trust the response, but there's no clear-cut path on how to get that experience with where I'm at.
Okay. So then I think that if that's the case, and you say, hey, how can I get the experience? Have you asked that question?
No, I haven't, because I've been shut down multiple times.
Okay, then I think that you leave once this thing is over. I think you've got to stay right now.
That too.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I've been at with this.
I can only go with the evidence you've given me. Okay? And the evidence is I hope that you're seeing clearly when you say, Ken, I've been shut down multiple times. I'd like to hear that you sat down with this leader and said, how can I get that experience? What can I do to get that experience, to get the opportunity? But if you've tried to do that and it keeps getting shut down, then I think you want to take I think your wife's wrong. I think you do get those additional certifications, which gives you valuable experience plus skills. And I think you look for a better opportunity where there's a ladder. But right now I sit tight until I get the qualifications. I'd sit tight. But I think your wife's wrong.
I ordered the books this morning.
Good man. So. I think your wife's wrong, but let me also defend your wife, because I don't want you to feel like I'm attacking her. I think she's wrong, but I think she's coming at it from she's tired of you getting kicked in the teeth, and that's what she feels. And so she's kind of throwing.
That's a true statement.
That's absolutely right. And so she's throwing her hands in there and go, I don't even think you should mess with it anymore. It's just not your area. Well, but what she's discounting is your heart. See, she's speaking with her heart, but we've got to think about Larry's heart. And Larry loves what he does. He just needs to be doing it in a great environment. So if you were to take my Should I Quit My Job quiz, Larry, which is free at kencoleman.com, you would test out and it would say you're doing the right thing in the wrong place. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
You're the man. Larry, you got this. I want you to come up with a plan. This is exactly like our last call. This is sit tight.
I was listening to that.
Yeah, I think the advice is similar. Sit tight. Make a plan right now. And when things get back to normal, you've got a strategy and you've already planned it out. You've already started making the connections now. Get everything ready to go so that you can pull the ripcord and you're out of there.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. It just validates the whole thought. Appreciate
yes, sir. You're a good man, Larry. Better days are ahead, I promise. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Hey, listen, I need your help. Our YouTube numbers right now are going like this, and I want to say thank you. As you know, if you've been watching this show for any amount of time, I think you know my heart for people. And so when I ask you to promote our show, it's because I want as many people as possible watching the show on YouTube. This is a huge, huge, huge landscape. A vast, vast plain of people out there who aren't happy in their work. They weren't happy before this thing happened, and this is a time for them to reboot. And I want to be there. I want to be the guide for you and your friends and your family. So if this show is encouraging you and equipping you to do practical things to make progress, would you consider liking every episode, just that little thumbs up right below the video window? All right, it's probably right over here, okay? Do that every day, because that tells YouTube we've got a tribe over here and they're actively engaging and they're going to spread the word. And they put it out in front of other people based on their searches. The second thing I want you to do is, would you subscribe? Because that helps us as well. It's just a simple click subscribe, and that will do so much to help us and expanding the tribe. And then the third thing is, would you share one of the shows or one of the shorter clips? Please just click share it on social media. Hey, I watched this show. This is what it does for me. I get this out of the show. Or just share an email link or share a clip for somebody that you know would be encouraged. If you do that, you can do something positive today. That's one thing you can do today to spread some light. Again, that's assuming that you enjoy the show and it's helping you. If you're new to the show, don't do any of that. Keep watching. Keep watching. And most importantly, if you're watching or you minimize the video screen here on YouTube and you listen, if you just need to talk to somebody, it may not even be work advice. It's just, Ken, I'm down right now. I'm having some ugly, scary thoughts. Would you call me? You can change your name. Madison will change your name. We can change your location. And you are an anonymous phone call. But I'm serious about this. Anxiety and depression are going bananas right now. Suicide rates are up. That breaks my heart. I am not a mental health counselor, but I tell you what I am. I'm a kind voice who will listen to you, who will encourage you, and do everything in my power to help you see a path forward. And I'm a free phone call. 844-747-2577. Come on. These are different times. We don't have to do every phone call about work or career. If it's just about you and your head and your heart, let's go. Come on. I think somebody's watching right now. And don't be worried about being nervous. It's part of it. It's okay. I'm going to take good care of you. You're not a prop. You're a person with a purpose. Don't worry about crying. We've had lots of people cry on this show. We're down with that. You're socially isolated, so just have some tissue, blow your nose. We don't care. No judgment here. 844-747-2577. We're going to get back to the phones. Let's go to the chat room right now. Dylan Tucker writes in, Ken, I'm writing a book. Way to go, Dylan. All right. I like it. Should I spend time trying to find a publisher or should I self-publish from the get-go? It's my first book. Do both. And what I mean by that is have a plan to self-publish, okay? And there's so many ways to do that now. It's so much easier to do than it was 15 years ago. But also put a book proposal together and submit it to publishers. What do you have to lose? If they don't pay attention and they ignore you, who cares? You got a plan to put it out on your own. Earth 16 Comics Wire. That's an interesting username. Hey, Ken, I'm trying to get into the journalism field, but I do not have the related experience as I've worked in various jobs. How can I get the experience? Yeah, Earth 16 Comics Wire. This is the Ken Coleman Show plan. I had never been on radio, and I called how many radio stations, Joe? At least 4 or 5 in my area. Finally got to Anna Jacobs through a mutual friend, and Anna got me meeting with her husband who runs Jacobs Media down in Gainesville, Georgia. WDUN, still going strong. They're an affiliate of the Ken Coleman Show. And I finally got a meeting and I said, hey, I'll pay my way on. And he said, all right, I'll take your money. But it got me on. And that's where I got experience. In your situation, you may have to volunteer. Hey, I'll write X amount of words for you every week. I'll do this. I'll do that. May not be any money in it. So it's a side hustle. And instead of you making money, you're trying to get experience, and then a little bit of money will trickle in. But you've got to get experience writing stories or doing video stories and cutting those up for television stations, whatever it is. You've got to have a mindset that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get in. So I've got to have a day job while I pursue the dream job. And above all, you better have some patience. You know, the willing to do what it takes, a lot of people go, absolutely, because there's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm that's coming from the passion for the work. But you've got to be willing to wait as long as it takes. Now, that's a different deal. And so I would ask you, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to wait as long as it takes? And if the answer is yes, giddy up. Chris Garner writes in, do you believe it is important to join societies, clubs, or organizations in your industry and get involved in the local chapter? Yes! That's called getting in proximity. I wrote this book called The Proximity Principle, a proven strategy that will lead to a career you love. It's all about getting around the right people and in the right places. The right people plus the right places equals opportunity. That's a mathematical formula that you can count on. The right people plus the right places equals opportunity. That's why I wrote the book, The Proximity Principle. Get it. You can get the audio book for $1.99 right now at daveramsey.com/hope, a part of our, unbelievable offerings right now for people. There is hope. And the Proximity Principle works even in crisis. You can also get the hard copy wherever books are sold. Of course, the ebook and the audio book. But if you're an audiobook person, go get it right now. Unbelievable. I'm going to walk you through the top 5 people, the top 5 places you need to be thinking about, and they apply to your world, no matter who you are, where you live, or what you're going after. So go get it, the Proximity Principle. Let's do one more in the chat room here. Nico Comic. Do you have some easy steps for introverts to learn when trying to interview for a better job? Yes, I do, Nico. If you go to kencoleman.com, I've got a free How to Win the Interview Guide. I walk you through the preparation and the performance, because that's what an interview is. It's all about preparation and performance. Here's what I've said a million times, and this is for you, Nico. By the way, you need to be on your way to the website here shortly. KenColeman.com. It's one of my 3 free Get Hired guides. How to win the interview. Relentless preparation leads to reflexive performance. The great athletes perform well under pressure because they have prepared in practice with the team, in the film room, and out on the field, or in the weight room when no one else is around. Relentless preparation for your job interviews will lead to reflexive performance. Your brain is a supercomputer. You've got to program it to perform. So whatever you put in it, it'll spit out. This I guarantee. So that's how you win the interview. Go get it right now for the rest of you. Great free resource, How to Win the Interview, at KenColeman.com. So, driving in today. By the way, I am coming in. We got the okay from our mayor, and we're all good. Got a skeleton crew. Nathan, Joe, and Madison are doing a great job. And we're all healthy, by the way. So I'm driving in this morning, and I'm thinking, what's a word I want to share with the audience today? Because we've just kind of set ourselves up here for a whole month of April, going, hey man, we're still in this confinement, this social distancing, stay at home, and bad news coming out. We're going to see another round of devastating unemployment numbers. I'm just telling you. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, what can I share? What am I learning right now? And I think it's important for me to share what I'm dealing with and what I'm learning, because I'm no different than you. And this thing is hitting our family as well. And you know, there's lots of things changing, and I'm trying to lead my family well. Okay, what can we do? And this thought hit me. I'm not settling right now. I'm not. I've got this mindset right now where I'll go through my doubts and my fears and the unknowns and all that stuff, but I'm not settling. So I said, oh, that's good. Like, I have to accept that things have changed. Hello, I don't have my head in the sand, but I'm not going to settle in to all of the negative things that have changed. I can accept that the realities have changed, but I'm not going to settle. So I went to the dictionary. And Joe's been with me a long time. And I love to go to the dictionary because I love words. And words matter. So I looked it up. I looked up the definition to settle, Joe. And it said, to accept or agree to something that one considers to be less than satisfactory. To accept or agree to something that one considers to be less than satisfactory. See, I refuse to accept that what we're dealing with right now is going to win in my life or in your life. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to settle into this new normal as though this is going to be how it is. I'm not going to settle. Some of you have lost your job. Some of you are going to lose your job. Some of you have had to take a pay cut. Some of you have been furloughed. Some of you are having to make some really tough decisions with your budget right now. That's reality. And so we accept that there is a new reality. However, if you've been laid off, don't settle into, well, I'm just going to collect unemployment and I'm going to binge on Netflix and I'm going to eat a lot of ice cream because this is a really crappy time. And when things are crappy, I like to eat a bunch of junk food to make myself feel better. Or I'm going to start drinking a little bit more, but I'll stop when this thing returns to normal. That's settling. Don't you dare settle for some of these new realities. You may have to accept that they're new realities, but are you going to just settle in and let those things engulf you? Or are you going to say, I am going to keep charging this storm? I am not going to settle for just sitting at home and collecting unemployment. I'm going to add value to somebody. I'm going to try to add value in a way that I can make some money, whether it's one part-time job or two or three, or a completely different job that gives me full-time pay, and I'm going to swallow my pride, as I am not going to settle for these circumstances. I'm not going to settle. Because the moment that you settle, that you say, well, you know what? I'll just be satisfied with this. This is just a crappy time, and I'm going to accept that this is a crappy time, and all the crappy things that are happening to me and everybody else, that's just part of the deal, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. I'm settling. No! Listen to me, folks. This crisis, this health crisis that's now turned into a short-term economic crisis. That's what it is. I can be positive but still tell the truth. It's short term, that's me being positive. But the reality is in this moment, I've got to deal with reality, and I'm not going to settle for it. I'm going to do something about it. It is in the doing that there might just be healing. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, what can you do right now? How can you add value right now? Don't you settle. Yes, there's a new routine, and routines need to, I addressed this at the top of the program. If you deal with depression, anxiety, you need a routine. But come up with a new routine. And in that routine, you better be doing something positive for somebody. Add value, write a thank you note, stick a stamp on it, and mail it. Call somebody, love on somebody, donate something to somebody, sell something. Do something. Don't settle. Because this will pass, and you better keep your eye on the prize, the big picture. Does the timing of the big picture that you had change? Yep. Does the path to the big picture change a little bit because of this? Maybe a lot. Absolutely. But the big picture doesn't change. Keep your eyes on it. Don't settle. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Matthew in Las Vegas, Nevada. Matthew, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you today?
I'm living the dream, Matthew. What's going on?
So I had a quick question for you. My company, it's a fairly large company, but I have 3 leads, capital L, that just kind of manage the workflow. An assistant director and then a main director of my particular department. One of the leads has been doing this profession for 40 plus years and is very, very set in his ways. I'll get back to that in just a second. But he's had issues with other employees there before. Particularly yesterday, there was a miscommunication between me and him. He got very vulgar and kind of verbally. I felt that he verbally assaulted me or insulted me and kind of belittled me. Vulgar as well. After that, I called the assistant director and the director, and I actually have a meeting with them in an hour when I do go in today. But my question for you is, should I sit down with them, and should I bring this to an HR standpoint, just because he's had other issues with other employees there, or what is the best way you think to handle this situation?
Well, I need to ask a few quick questions, and we need to move quickly. Sure. So just give me the facts here.
Okay.
Was this a situation where it was a highly stressful situation, and he was I'm just curious, what caused in your mind for him to insult you? What led to the insult? Did he just come out of nowhere and just look at you and insult you?
He's a very, very, I'll say, loud and boisterous individual already. And when there was a miscommunication that happened, he looked at me and he said it multiple times, and then I didn't cower or anything like that.
Did you, hold on a second, hold on. I just got to get to the facts.
Sure.
Are you the person who miscommunicated?
Yes.
And what do you?
Well, it was a group. It was a group. There was two. I work in a hospital. It was 2 or 3 different people.
Okay, but my point is, was he correct? Forget how he handled it, but was he correct in being disappointed or calling out what went wrong?
Yes, he was.
Okay, so forget how he handled it. The guy's boisterous. He's a big giant bull in the china shop. I get it, but had he handled it in a polite way, would his response, again, if he just said, all right, this is what happened here and here, this shouldn't have happened, did he address it that way? Even though he did it the wrong way, did he at least address it, and was he correct?
I don't feel that he did. So
okay, but you acknowledge that you were a part of the miscommunication and you could have handled that better, correct?
Correct.
All right. So here, the reason I'm asking you this is because you got a situation where this guy has done this a long time. He's been this way a long time. This can't be the first time that he's been complained about. Am I right?
Correct. And he's not going to change.
No, not. And here's what I'm inferring. Not only is he not going to change, I'm not sure that leadership is going to do anything substantive with this based on what we know from history. Is that fair to assume?
Yes, that is fair.
All right. So my point is, in meeting with these folks, what do you want the outcome to be? And then do you think that outcome will actually happen?
Well, what I want the outcome to be is, I want to make it well known. Obviously, this guy can't go around doing this forever, and you can't expect people to cower to him.
100% agree. But I wanted you to go into this meeting prepared. So I'm asking you these things to make you prepared. What you want the outcome to be is that this is out of line, and I know he's done it before, and apparently nothing has happened, or if it has, he hasn't changed his actions, but he did this and it was out of line, and I just want to make you aware that this is not acceptable in my mind. And then you leave it there. Okay. But you got to know what you're going in to say. And you got to say it clearly. But I'm trying to also prepare you, not just on what to say, but what to expect.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this?
Right. So no emotions, just
no
facts,
emotions,
professionalism, and that's just kind of how it is.
That's it. Because here's the deal. You don't want to put yourself in a situation that endangers you. And if you go in there really emotional and you get vindictive and you're trying to take this guy out at the knees, that has a potential to backfire on you, and I don't want that to happen. I'm on Team Matthew. I think this guy's a jerk. 100% agree with you. I think you're doing the right thing, but you better handle it super level-headed and go, look, I just wanted you to be aware. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what happened. It's unprofessional. He's done it before, and I just had to kind of turn a blind eye to it because it didn't happen to me. Now it's happened to me, and it's completely counterproductive, and I just wanted you to be aware of it. And there you go. And I acknowledge
or what?
Yeah, well, acknowledge the fact that you admit that this could have been a situation where maybe he's stressed out. I'm always trying to give someone the benefit of the doubt. If they're hurting or they're stressed, that in some way needs to be taken into account. It's not okay that he did what he did. Hear me say, it's not okay. I just don't want you to go in and make a huge issue out of this that could end up backfiring on you. I'm concerned about the leadership is what I'm getting at. They've let this guy do this for a long time. I wrote down, he's been there a very, very long time. And so I think you said 40 years or something insane like that. So I just want you to go in and protect yourself while at the same time objecting. So you're doing the right thing. Bite your lip. I'm all for stability right now. I don't want people jumping. I don't want people getting fired unnecessarily. I'm trying to protect you in this, and so that's where I'm going with that. Appreciate the call. Well, our time is almost up, but before I let you go, you matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.